to Lawyer in the Kitchen. Today we're gonna make chicken fried rice. And this is a very easy, simple dish. But the one key, actually there's two really. The one key is to make the rice the night before, put it in the refrigerator, uncovered and let it dry out. And then it'll be nice and separated. Otherwise, and I've made fried rice a million times, but I've always done it, I've made the rice right then, right there, and it's a little mushy. It tastes great, but fried rice be nice and separated and tastes better if you make the rice the night before. The other one thing you gotta have is sesame seed oil. And I guess they don't call it the seed, they call it just sesame oil, but I always call it sesame seed oil. But anyhow, it's sesame oil. And so the other ingredients, obviously, you wanna have a long grain rice. We're going to use jasmine, which is a long grain rice. You can use any other long grain. There's several, you can buy just long grain rice, that works fine. We're gonna use soy sauce, oyster sauce. If you don't like oyster sauce, don't use it. You gotta have the soy sauce and you gotta have the sesame oil. All right, we're gonna have 2 fresh carrots that we're gonna grate, about 2 or 3 cloves of garlic. We're going to cube this chicken breast. This is about 1 pound of chicken breast. And then we're gonna use frozen peas. Some people use all frozen stuff. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna finish off probably with a little bit of bacon in this. And then I'm gonna top it off at the very end. We're gonna put in some chopped up scallions or green onions. Thanks for liking and thanks for subscribing. We're gonna get to this rice right now. We're gonna put in about 2 cups of rice. We're gonna make about 2 to 3 cups of rice. All right, we're gonna rinse the rice because you really don't want all that starch. The rice is rinsed well. I've got 1 finger joint of water above the top level of the rice. Got cold water in there. I'm not gonna add salt or oil to this. There's gonna be plenty of salt in the soy. And so we're just gonna start this off. Once it boils, we'll cook it for 20 minutes on low. I learned how to cook rice in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. The way to do it is the way I learned at Teddy's Chop Suey. They rinse the rice and then they fill the water up. Whatever the level of the rice is, you take 1 joint of your finger and it's above the rice. If you'll go to my video under Teddy's Chop Suey rice, you'll see exactly how I do it. We're gonna bring this to a boil. It's cold. There's no salt added to this because the soy sauce will have some salt in it. And I didn't put oil in this because we really want this to absorb all of the flavors of the fried rice. This is cooked for 20 minutes. Let's have a look at it. Oh, that looks right. Look at that. Look at that. All right, so we're gonna put this in raw on this sheet pan and put it in the refrigerator for until tomorrow night. We'll cook this tomorrow night, so it'll be about 24 hours, not quite, probably 18. And it should dry out and we're gonna fluff it up. And this is clearly more than 2 or 3 cups, but that's all right. Now let's talk about what we're gonna do. We wanna get everything ready before we go out to the grill. So I'm going to cut up the onions, get the carrots grated, make the sauce, cut the chicken up, get the sauce for the chicken, and we're gonna marinate this chicken about 30 minutes. So the first thing we're gonna do is the chicken. First I wanna go ahead and get the chicken cut up into bite-sized pieces. And we don't want them real big for this. I'm using breast tenderloins. And we're gonna make a sauce that actually is going to be, except for adding some baking powder, which helps keep the chicken moist, we are going to use essentially the same thing that we're gonna make for the sauce for the fried rice. All right, so this we want bite-sized pieces. And then we're gonna put that in a bowl and do the same thing with this one. Cleaned off the cutting board really well with soap. Even a disinfectant would be good, obviously, because chicken is not good, raw chicken. Now it's time to put in a little marinade. We're gonna do this for about 30 minutes, okay? On the oyster sauce, we're gonna put in about a tablespoon. And on the soy sauce, about a tablespoon. And a little bit of sesame oil, probably a teaspoon. And that helps keep this nice and moist. You can mix this with some tongs, but I can wash my hands easier. All right, we're gonna let this sit in the fridge, and we got one of these little babies sitting here. It's got the tendon on it, so I'll cut that and we'll get rid of that. But the rest of this will sit in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes while we get everything else ready and get the grill nice and hot. If you're like me, I love Chinese hot mustard. So as soon as you get your chicken done, go ahead and get you a little bowl. And that's probably plenty. We're gonna put some water in it. So you don't wanna put too much, but it will thicken up a little bit. So, put you some in there. You wanna make it a little on the thin side while it's setting. And that's still a little thick. That is about the right consistency right there. All right, this onion is one that I have left over from cooking something else. So we're gonna use it, not waste it. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave these in longer pieces like this. This is fine. This would be the equivalent of 2 medium onions, approximately. So to cut the carrots, go ahead and put, I like to cut them on an angle, because I'm gonna use them straight down the grater. Throw that away. And some people make them with cubed or little squares like you get when you get frozen, but I think this is the best. And we'll cut up the green onions in probably 1-inch pieces. And then that I'm going to put in with the onions. Okay, this is going to go in with the onions. And I'm going to put in about a cup of peas. I prefer the frozen ones. If you use fresh peas, they're going to get too mushy. That's probably enough. Let's just put a little more. That's plenty right there. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And take the soy sauce out with you because you may need more than that. And it's mostly on taste and color. If you like a little bit darker, which I prefer, then you're going to want to have a little more soy sauce. About a half a tablespoon of oil, sesame oil, and about a tablespoon of oyster sauce. And I forgot, you want 2 scrambled eggs. The grill is nice and hot. Now look, you could use this grill, this flat top, you could use this, you could use a wok, or you could use a skillet, a nice large skillet. Just get it good and hot. I'm going to use grapeseed oil. Let's check our temperatures. It's pretty hot. This is 485, 479, and this cooler over here, it's only 250. So we're gonna start with our chicken. Look at that. Oh, you got a nice char on it. Again, still not adding salt. Now I'm going to add the carrots. Onions are not done. Alright, we're going to bring the onions and the carrots You really don't want those completely done. So that's good right there. They'll cook the rest of the way in rice. This has been in the fridge overnight. It's clumpy. That's fine. Just take your hands. And again, I'm just using grapeseed oil. Let's spread that out. Let that get nice and crispy. Let that sit there for a minute. We let our peas warm up. All right. Now we're going to put everything back in. Let's chop up this egg. Chicken back in. Go ahead and add the peas. And now it's time to add the sauce. Alright, I've turned off the grill. It's still going to be hot. And mix this a little better. Now it's time for our green onions. It's worth all the extra time it takes to remember to put the rice, cook it the day before, and put it in. This is absolutely beautiful. Coming apart just the way it should. Nothing stuck together. And we have a ton. I'm going to have it from this one, but we have this much more. Plenty of fried rice. Okay, so we're going to try this. Well, first of all, just try a little bit of this mustard. Oh yeah, that's hot. That's nice. And it's, you know, it's not just hot, it's the flavor. It's a great flavor. All right, so we're going to try this with a little bit. Let's see, what are we going to do first? I got a piece of chicken. Got a little bit of this mustard. Oh. The carrots still have a little crunch to them. You taste the onions, the peas taste good. The chicken's absolutely perfect. Perfect.
Almost choked on a pea.
How do you choke on a pea?
You inhale it.
Okay.
That is really good.
The rice is nice and separated.
The rice is perfect. The key is doing it the day before. You've done it both ways. I like the day before rice better.
This is much better. Absolutely.
The little bit of egg in there is perfect. The amount of sauce, perfect.
All right. And if you like it, a little more salty, obviously put a little more soy sauce on. I wouldn't use salt. You could, but I would use a little more soy sauce. And then have as much of this hot mustard as you like. And thanks for coming, and I'll see you next time on Lawyer in the Kitchen.